Hello, hello, hello. It is Ross Fertel, faithful reader on the forums, and I am, yes, driving home from work. There were 3 cards revealed today for where no one has gone before, and let's go through them. Going to start with the dilemma, two-dimensional beings. It's triggered, you're hoping you have a personnel with 2 signs or telepathy, and telepathy is the easier one to go with. I've got a list below personnel with 2 signs, and they do exist, they're just not plentiful. I've looked at some equipment, there's no equipment that explicitly gives signs. I'm sure there's cards that give a skill, but nothing that explicitly gives science. But thankfully the consequences aren't too bad. Your opponent puts it on one of your non-headquarters missions, and you can only attempt it once a turn. So they're probably going to put it on something you're going to attempt later in the game, because early in the game, you probably will only be attempting 1 mission per turn anyway. So yeah, a fun little dilemma. And then we get to Juliette Giroux, and Lucas has an amazing article about the art on the card, which is quite frankly amazing. I do want to draw attention to the lore. The lore is from the game. For those of you unaware, this is a character, well, she was mentioned in the episodes, but the only footage we have of her is definitively from the back of her head, which is not that great of an image. And looking at her skills, she's got 5, one of which is telepathy, which gives Voyager a pretty good amount of telepathy, with her, Kess, and Stati being the main sources, without going into, Kess is not aligned, but without going out of the affiliation, out of the faction, as you will. Yeah, skills aren't bad. It's a full-fledged faction that's pretty old, so none of the skills are really rare. But yeah, good support personnel to have. She's non-unique. And that takes us to the personnel who I will say is the best personnel for new players. I know a lot of people, myself included, who've made a deck that have no support cards at all, just personnel and ships. This card is good in that. He's also got some good skills nonetheless. Danny had some points to make in his card of the day. I've got that down below in the comments. For each event that your opponent commands in their core more than you have, Tannis' attributes +1, it caps at 6, but still that's good. I mean, think of unexpected. Think of all these events that you expect your opponent to be put in play for their support. Enterprise J, just all these cheap and easy events they put in their core. But in a lot of younger new players will just make a deck that just has personnel and ships. There is an achievement for that, by the way. So, yeah, good new player card, good utility card. Honestly, he's not too bad if you need the skill holes plugged. Cost isn't too bad. I imagine there's some with the cheaper cost if you're just going for the telepathy. But alright, I am approaching a red light, and I have run out of things to ramble about, which is good that those things are happening at the same time. Thank you very much for listening, and take care. Have a good day. Bye-bye.